Hello there. Outrage among Brexit hardliners and national conservatives in London has sparked reports that the UK government is planning to improve relations with the European Union and lower Brexit-created trade barriers. I talked about this noon, but I want to talk a little bit more about the outrage. Right-wing supporters of the Prime Minister threatened at the beginning of the week that if Prime Minister Rishi Sunak were playing a betrayal of Brexit, he would have to reckon with an uprising in the Conservative Party and possibly the overthrow of the government. Nice one, isn't it? The excitement began when the always well-informed Sunday Times reported in its last issue that the government was contemplating relations with Brussels similar to those Switzerland has with the EU. Earlier, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, or Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt, had stated that Britain wanted to dismantle the overwhelming majority of the trade barriers that exists between us and the EU in the next 2 years to allow for smoother trade. Hunt emphasized that this would take time and that it would not mean that his country would re-enter the EU internal market. And a government spokesman announced categorically that something like the Swiss model was not even being considered. Well, the EU will never consider that, I can tell you that one. Prime Minister Sunak even said he would block any attempt to impose EU laws on his country. He does not strive for such a relationship with Europe. In any case, the fundamental principles of Brexit will not be touched. That's what State Secretary Robert Jenrick, responsible for immigration, vowed. There will be no jurisdiction of European judges in the United Kingdom. We will not transfer money to the European Union, that there is no free movement of people. By the way, there are European judgments. I just say Rwanda flights. After all, they want to further reduce the influx of foreigners to Great Britain. We believe that this is what the British people want. He can't understand at all why Brexit principles should now be abandoned. That was said by Health Minister Steve Barclay, who was once Brexit Minister. Ex-Secretary of State Simon Clarke stressed that the question of leaving the EU had been settled once and for all for his country. Angry Brexiteers suspected Chancellor Hunt, a Brexit opponent from the very beginning, behind the latest initiative. That's what the Sun newspaper reported on Monday. The paper quoted senior Tories as saying, "We have already had to put up with a budget that the Labour Party could have brought forward, and now they also want us to swallow Switzerland." I wouldn't recommend to do that, by the way. Nigel Farage, who once led UKIP and then the Brexit Party, said he wasn't convinced by the government's denials. If they really want to betray Brexit, I think I should do something about it. And the influential Daily Mail also warned the government from such a betrayal of Brexit. In fact, Brussels Brexit negotiator, Deputy Commission President Maroš Šefčovič, offered the British a deal for privileged access to the EU's internal market via special agreements last June on the issue of the hotly disputed Northern Ireland Protocol. But the offer fell through because of London's categorical refusal to align British laws with any EU regulations or even consider a role for the European Court of Justice. And I'm not so sure if Šefčovič had the backing of the whole EU on that one. I must be honest about that. But Brexit will keep us busy, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.